show starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good morning, CaneSport. It's August 30th, 2021. I'm Gary Ferman, the publisher of CaneSport.com, joined as always by our managing editor, Matt Shodell. And it's game week, Canes fans. Get fired up. It's finally here. And Matt, exciting times, busy times for us, all kinds of things going on. Let me start with a programming note for everybody. We announced yesterday the debut of the Lamar Thomas Show, something we're very excited about. It's going to be each Wednesday night during the football season. It'll be a live show, and we will have many guests throughout the course of the season, as you can imagine, and some real special stuff planned for Wednesday night. I'm not going to let it out of the bag just yet, but Wednesday night, you'll want to see that show either live or on demand. It's going to be a lot of fun. And Tuesday night, we have the season debut of CaneSport Live. So many people have been looking forward to that. And we'll have that every week during the season as well. So a lot to fill your evenings if you're tired of watching Netflix and TV with the wife, or I guess in some cases husband, and you just want to get your fix of Canes talk. We'll have plenty of it for you on Tuesday and Wednesday night. All right, let's get to the news of the day, Matt, and we might as well start with what's coming up later today. We will have Manny Diaz's first full press conference leading into game week, and that should be interesting just to get an update on how he feels the team is looking going into game preparation for Alabama, the monumental challenges ahead. And it's really going to be interesting to hear some of those perspectives, Matt, because I haven't heard one person around the country think that Miami has a chance to win this game. But obviously here in Hurricane Football Central, they're very much thinking that they're going to Atlanta, obviously, and to pull an upset.
Yeah, I don't think they care what people are saying. I hope they don't care what people are saying. But, to me, I'm more interested, honestly, not in what Manny says. We've interviewed Manny enough times to know there's not going to be any breaking news other than maybe some injuries or an update on Zion Nelson. But what I'm more interested to hear is, two of the key assistants are going to be talking this afternoon, and that's Rhett Lashley and Jess Simpson. And if there's two areas of the game that are going to dictate who wins or loses, it's going to be if the offense can score enough points and against a really good Alabama defense that returns almost everybody, and if Jess Simpson's defensive line, the revamped defensive line, can hold up. Because if either of those don't happen, any talk of Miami playing with or close with Alabama is not going to transpire. So to me, I'm not as, Manny, great that he's talking, but I'm really curious to see, what Rhett sees in Alabama's defense, and mainly actually in his own personnel, what he thinks they can do now that we're in game week finally. And the same with Jess Simpson. There's a lot of questions on the D-line.
All right, well, the reviews that we've gotten all fall on Rhett Lashley's offense have been glowing. They're fast, they're good, very difficult for the defense to control really in practice. And the bulk of that work, when the ones are on the field, is against the second team defense. And the one thing that's been clear to us just from all the feedback and the stats coming out of scrimmages and plays being made and stuff is that the second team defense has been a bit overmatched trying to deal with the speed and the skill of Rhett Lashley's offense. And what I can't quite make yet is whether that's a positive or a negative. There's a lot of ways we can interpret that, Matt. It might be a sign to us that the depth on defense is which would be understandable, is a bit of an issue, and that they better hold up physically and not have to go too deep into the depth chart on defense, or else it's going to be problematic. But we kind of already knew that. We know that defensive end depth is not there. We know linebacker depth is not there. And we know the defensive tackle position, even though there is depth, we don't know how well those guys are going to perform this year. Are they going to take a step forward? Is Nesta Silvera going to become more than just an occasional cameo appearance in the Miami defense? These are all variables that are being brought into the season that we do not have answers for right now. We can guess, we can talk about it, we can debate it, but we do not know how that's really going to play out as the season rolls along. So We kind of knew that there's issues on defense. No lie. But the offense clearly, when the first team has been on the field, has been very, very, very good. And Rhett Lashley has to feel confident going into the season.
Yeah, I mean, there are some warning signs on defense. They do the ones versus twos format and scrimmages, I guess, with the idea that, your twos have to be as good as your ones or you're not going to have any depth, and you have to have depth. So I sort of get it a little bit from that perspective. But, the warning sign is forget last weekend's scrimmage. It wasn't a scrimmage. It was a mock game where it was basically scout team and third teamers going against the first team offense and first team defense. Of course, Derek King's going to throw 5 touchdowns. They're going to run by everybody, and the defense is going to have 10 sacks. I mean, that's what happens every time they do this. So you got to throw that out the window. The warning sign to me, look, they've had 2 scrimmages then, right? And the first scrimmage, the first team defense was not good against the second team offense. That's a major, major warning sign. Now, in that first scrimmage, from what I heard, Nesta Silvera and Bubba Bolden were not participating. But still, it's a warning sign. Second scrimmage, first team defense was better. But again, they're going against the second team offense. Second team offensive line is not good. They should be dominating.
And a freshman quarterback.
Yeah. So it shouldn't be a back and forth. It should be domination on defense. I'm very concerned about the defense, and I'm very concerned up front, which is, again, why I want to hear what Jess Simpson has to say later today. He tends to be, pretty honest, and you can sort of read between the lines. If he's not glowing about somebody or a situation, that's a red flag, to me.
All right, and to be fair, I from what I've heard, the young quarterbacks predictably did have moments of struggle against the number 1 defense. They're still coming along. They don't have game experience, so you would expect that to be the case. Obviously, Derek King's health is at a big time premium from second 1 this season. That's not a surprise to anybody either. So we're going to have those press conferences today, and we'll have full reports on those later on as we finish those. All right, some other things on the website this morning. A lot of recruit chatter. There's a lot of recruits, believe it or not, that are making this trip to Atlanta for the game. Miami, Alabama, whether it doesn't come around a lot. Some of them, are on the fence. Some of them are considering Miami and Alabama. So a lot of recruit interest in this football game. Some of the guys that we know right now are going are Ja'Curry Brown, Earl Little, Shamar Stewart. We have a story today on the American Heritage players that are going. Mark Fletcher, the 2023 running back, that is so critical to the next recruiting class. I mean, this kid is a total stud. Miami must find a way to recruit better at American Heritage in time to get Mark Fletcher. He's clearly interested. He's going to the game along with Brandon Innes, who just committed to Oklahoma. Now, Brandon Innes is a Miami fan. He committed to Oklahoma because Oklahoma did a good job of recruiting him, and he feels that Oklahoma, for his football future right now, is a better choice for him than Miami and the other schools recruiting him. But he is going to the Miami-Alabama game with Mark Fletcher, and nothing's done until it's done. And if the Miami defense goes up there and is lighting up the Alabama defense, which many think is the number 1 defense in the country, maybe a kid like Brandon Innes gets reinterested in Miami. It's a long way to go on that kid. You still got a year and a half before he signs his letter of intent. He's a 5-star receiver. You don't give up on it. So the point is, you're getting the feel just from these guys that we're naming, just how important this game is from the perception of the program. And I don't think that people are harboring illusions, Matt, that Miami's going to win, but they do want to see Miami compete. And they do want to show Miami show up and play a respectable game that's better than what they have seen from the Hurricanes in recent years when the competition stepped up.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at our other story this morning, we caught up with a ton of recruits who made their predictions for the game, and I was actually very surprised how many of them picked Miami to win. High school kids, they like Miami down here. They want Miami to do well. They're going to pick Miami to win, and Miami has to prove them right, because everybody around these kids it's telling them Miami's going to lose, Miami's going to get blown out, and these kids are believers. And if Miami gets blown out, it's embarrassing when they have to go to school the next day and say, I was wrong. Miami's no good. They lost 41-0, whatever it may be, Miami has to have a good showing. They can't let these kids who believe in Miami be embarrassed. They've got to show up one of these days. And this is the game where you got to do it. It's someone was telling me today, like, these kids weren't even alive the last time Miami was playing for national championships. Like, they need to get back to that level and show these local kids we can be back at that level and you can be part of it.
Yeah. Well, I love that there's a game like this to start the season. Because it's going to show us what's real. I mean, we all put the shades on. We all do this.
No.
We all do this during the off season. It's natural. I mean, we want to see things go well. We want to see players emerging. We want to see the program making forward progress. But we don't know what's going to be real when the whistle blows at 3:30 on Saturday. And now we're going to have something to touch and feel. Yes, it's against the preseason favorite to win the national title yet again. But that's okay because, look, Clemson, Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia, a couple other schools are making moves. That's the level that Miami has to get to be relevant in college football again. Until you can line up and compete against these guys, you are not relevant, no matter how badly you want to be. So I love that these opportunities to just go eyeball to eyeball with what I call the bar. I mean, this is the bar, and we're going to see this week where the Hurricanes stand against the bar, and I couldn't be more excited about that. All right. So we've got all those things we talked about already. We also have a look back at the storied history of Miami, Alabama. So it's a little bit more detailed than you might think. It's more than just that national championship game in 1991. I mean, there's a long history of Miami and Bama. So we take a look at that. Also a story on the website. Just a sensational job that our editor Jim Martz did putting this together on the baseball program. And those of you that are interested in baseball, you've been a little rattled lately, understandably. You've seen a lot of players going into the transfer portal. It's been staggering, no argument. But what we found when we looked into it a little deeper is that a lot of teams around the country are going through the same thing. The transfer portal in baseball is in vogue, just like it was for football, just like it was for basketball. So Jim Martz takes a deep look with Gino DeMari on exactly what's going on with baseball and how things are looking going into the future. We also take a look at the Miami-Alabama game from a betting angle. We go inside the new college sports book and talk with Kyle Henderson, who is a Bama Insider expert, and a couple other people, and we break down the game from a gambling perspective. So, Matt, to sum it all up, a lot going on this week.
It's going to be a great week. I mean, look, Saturday can't get here soon enough. That's when we get our answers. There's going to be a lot of speculation, a lot of people saying this or saying that all week. I mean, all that matters is what happens for 3.5 hours or so on Saturday. Then all this other talk goes away. Either Miami's real or it's not real. We're going to find out on Saturday.
All right, so that's going to do it today for Good Morning CaneSport. Stay with us all week long. We'll be here to break it all down for you and be lots of content flying on the site. If you're not a subscriber yet, you got a few more days to take advantage of our best offer in our history for new subscribers, $20.21 for 2021, the first year of your subscription. Invite everybody to come join us and the community at CaneSport.com. So for Matt Shodell, I'm Gary Ferman. Thank you for joining us today on Good Morning CaneSport. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody.